Hey, good evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of An Hour with Bob. We just had probably the best set of playoff games, 4 games that I can remember, all exciting. Only one game was over a 3-point deficit, six points. The other 3 games were all won by 3 points, and that was this past week. So I had to bring Joe Kayata from NBC 10 on to talk about last week's game and what's coming up this coming week.
Yeah, incredible. Absolutely incredible. If you're a fan of football, or if you're just a fan of any sport, or just a fan of watching television, last weekend was absolutely incredible, especially that last game, just to see, the Bills and Chiefs and what they did. It's too bad that somebody had to lose.
But it was sad. I would fire that defensive coach right away.
Yeah?
I would fire him right on the spot. He wouldn't have left the field. I would have fired him.
Yeah.
13 seconds. They said 14. It was 13 to 14 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Left in the game. You're winning the game, right? Mm-hmm. By 3.
Yeah, they were up, yeah.
Up by 3.
Yeah.
Over there by 4.
They were up by 3 because the field goal tied it
field goal
overtime.
tied, yeah. They're up by 3. Now you're kicking off. Why in hell did they kick the ball in the end zone?
Yeah.
They should have kicked the ball
Squib
in the
kick.
field.
Yeah.
Squib kick it, or
Yep.
at least kick it in the playing field. So the guy has to run around a little bit.
Yep.
And then they got to wait till the pile, they get off the pile, and then the time is out, right?
Yep.
Instead, he kicks it in the end zone, which doesn't start the clock, and you got probably the greatest quarterback. And this kid is phenomenal.
He's good. He's good.
He is definitely in the top 3 premier quarterbacks in football.
Absolutely.
Right now.
Absolutely.
And he's unstoppable. And he makes 2 plays for a total of 46 yards, I think.
And then easy kick by Butker.
Yeah. He goes from his 25
Yeah.
to about the 27?
Yeah, I think it was a 49-yard kick. So, yeah, it was a
20, yeah.
Which isn't really big for NFL, but yeah, so I look at it as that used to be Tom Brady. Tom Brady, if he got the ball last, Tom Brady was going to win the game. Now these younger guys are even more dynamic because I don't even think Tom Brady could have done that in 13 seconds because he doesn't have the legs. But it's just not the passing of the guard, but Mahomes is legit. And
But Mahomes lost 4 games this year, right?
Yeah.
In early
Struggled early, yeah. Very
and I've said right along that he can be intimidated. If you rush him a lot, you can stop him. And if he gets thrown on the ground a few times, he gets banged up, not necessarily hurt, but just thrown around. He gets thrown the ball quicker. He doesn't. He's not as good.
But if you say that, and that's how Brady was. The only times Brady ever lost in those Super Bowls, it was because they got to Brady. So it's like any quarterback. You get to the quarterback and you put pressure on them.
So tell me why. And Joe Rocco, you know who Joe Rocco used to be with 10 for years. Joe Rocco's. We watch the games every Sunday.
All right. Yeah.
And he and I always talk about. He laughs about my impression about that the 2-minute drill when they prevent defense.
Yeah.
How many scores are made during the prevent defense in the last 2 minutes of the game?
Well, yeah.
So many.
Yeah.
Why do they go the whole game, play great defense, and they get back to, in this case, the last 13 seconds, and they go to a prevent defense?
Yeah.
I would have sent everybody but the kitchen sink after him.
Yeah. But, yeah. Well, I think there was 20, just in the end, the final 154 of that game, there was 25 points scored between the two teams, which is absolutely incredible and absolutely no defense being played.
And they're pinpoint passes. So if you give either one of those guys, the difference is Mahomes getting more of a pocket quarterback this year than he has in the past.
Yeah.
But Josh Allen, he took the game on his back.
He's a big boy.
He had a 4th and 7 or something, and a 4th and 9.
Yeah.
And he ran it for the first down.
Yeah.
He's
really turned into an elite quarterback because if you look early on in his career, he turned the ball over a lot, and everybody said, he's not legit. And just when you think he's turning the corner, he would do something stupid and lose a game.
Right.
Now he doesn't do that. He doesn't lose the game. He's a big guy. If you go back to that Week 16, the Patriots game, Mac didn't even throw it. I think he threw it 3 times. Allen was slinging it in that weather, which is tough. So he has the arm to do it, and he has the legs, and he's just a big guy. He's built like a linebacker. Yeah. So as long as he can stay healthy, that's going to be a major issue for the Patriots for years to come.
Yes, but that's going to be an issue with him because he's a stand-up runner.
Yeah.
He's more likely to get hurt.
Yes.
Not because of his lower body.
Yeah.
He's going to
Yeah.
get it in
He's gonna get it.
the legs.
But I think what you also, if you're a Patriots fan and you watch this weekend, Patriots had a great year, 10 wins with a rookie quarterback, all good things.
Yep.
But if you look at all the other quarterbacks in the league, in the AFC, even the Bengals with Joe Burrow, you got a ways to get to where you want to be.
That's right. They're going to be a long time.
It's going to be a long rebuild.
Unless they get some,
yeah.
make some good draft choices.
They have to do something to help Mac out, get a stud wide receiver. If you look at all the teams, they all have stud wide receivers.
Right.
And, we have good receivers. The Patriots have good receivers, but they don't have that stud guy, go-to guy that can change the game. So
Speaking of a go-to guy. Speaking of a go-to guy.
Yeah.
I'm still a Brady fan.
Okay.
And Tampa Bay, he came back from 27-3.
Yes.
Ties the game.
Yep.
Tell me what difference a guy in that game would Brown have made?
I think Brown's a great player. Obviously, we all know what he does off the field. But I think that would have been a game changer. But just to see Brady, I was at that game, the 28-3 game back at the Super Bowl years ago, and just to see how he can take over a game and change a game. And
but he did it last week.
Yeah, he did it again. Yeah. But as soon as he started doing it, I don't think anybody had a question that he could do it again. And he doesn't have half the receivers. He was down. Godwin's out. Brown's out.
Right.
He's Gronk is end of the year Gronk. But yeah, it was incredible to see what he did. It's incredible, and to think that
especially without
Godwin.
Yeah,
Godwin's
he
out.
was his guy.
Yeah.
He was his guy.
He was the guy. Yeah.
Over the middle.
Yeah. So to see Tom do it again.
He's missing a guard too, wasn't he?
Yeah, a couple offensive linemen were down. So to see what he did and to see that he could do it again was pretty incredible. Because to think that anybody can come back from that deficit. I remember going back to that Super Bowl when they were, I think it was halftime. I don't even know what the score was at halftime. I remember I went to the bathroom.
Oh, the Atlanta game?
Yeah, the Atlanta game. All the fans were screaming in the
25-3
bathroom.
was the score.
Going wild.
I left.
Thinking like they already won it.
I left.
Yeah.
I was at a place, and I left. And Joe Rocco called me.
Yeah.
And I was home, and it was like 5 minutes left in the game. And he says, are you watching this game? I go, no, I gave up on it.
Yeah.
They blew it. Is that you?
No, that's you.
Oh, I thought I turned it off. Yeah. I thought I turned it off. Excuse me. Joe Rocco calls me. He goes, you watching this game? I go, nah, I gave up on it. He goes, they just tied it. Yeah. I go, no. I thought he was bullying me, right? Yeah. So I turned it on, and sure enough, then they went ahead right after that.
Yeah,
it was 25-3, I think the score was.
Yeah, it was just to be a part of that, and I've been very lucky.
So you were at that game?
I was at that game, yeah. I've done 6 Super Bowls now, and that was by far the craziest one. I was at the one also in the Malcolm Butler interception, which we thought was over too. So what happens is...
Well, there was another coach in play.
That was crazy.
He's got the best running back in the freaking league.
Yeah. And they throw it.
And they throw
Marshawn Lynch, yep. So what happens is at the end of the game, we get to watch the game from press level the entire game. And then at the very end, they funnel us down to the field. So we go in this back staircase, and we go all the way down the staircase down to the back of the field, and then we just sit and wait. So they have TVs for us, but we basically watch a game off a TV in a back room of a stadium, and you hear the building shaking, and you know something happened, and 6 seconds later you see it on TV. So to be a part of both, I've been the highs, I've been the lows. I was at that 07 game when they lost it, and they ended, the perfect season ended.
Oh,
I was at the 11 one.
No, wait a minute. Who beat them?
That was the Giants. Yeah. And that
was a catch on the helmet.
the David Tyree. And for me, I was a kid from Cumberland, grew up watching the Patriots. It was my first Super Bowl, and I was like, I'm a part of history. This is going to be the greatest week ever. Wow. And the whole week was fantastic. And then all of a sudden, that ended. Yeah.
Undefeated.
I was like, this is it. This is it. This is the best week ever. And then they lost. And I remember Frank Carpano, myself, and a bunch of guys were all going to go out to dinner after the game. We didn't do anything. I went to McDonald's, and I was depressed. I was in my room. I was like, I can't believe they lost it. Yeah, it was bad. But it's been a fun run.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're from Cumberland, you said, huh?
Yeah, I heard you're from Cumberland too. Right?
I was born
in Cumberland, all right.
But I wasn't raised in
Cumberland.
All right. I've been in Pawtucket all my life.
All right.
But I was actually born in a house in Cumberland.
In Cumberland, okay. Yeah, born and raised in Cumberland. Went to school in Miami in Florida, but I interned at Channel 10 when I went to Cumberland High School. And that's how I got to know everybody. I got to know Frank.
Right.
And when I went to college, when I was ready to come back, I called him. He said, come back home, and 16 years later, I'm still
You've been
here.
there 16 years?
16 years.
Holy good
Yeah,
God.
time
wow.
flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, I
That's
know
what they
it,
say.
I
I was a
know
kid. I came in as a kid.
Wow.
And now I'm adult, 2 kids, wife, house. Yeah, it's you grow up fast at Channel 10.
Yeah, I guess. And you stay a long time.
Yeah,
a lot of guys stay a long time.
Yeah. It's one of those stations where you want to stay a while. I grew up watching Channel 10 when I was a kid. I grew up watching Joe Rocco, Frank Carpano, Doug White, all the guys. So for me to actually work there was
Doug White's been on the show,
Doug White.
too.
Yep.
You know who holds the record on the show? You know
Who?
who's been on the show the most times of any TV personality?
Who?
Gene Valicenti.
I was gonna guess Gene. He likes to get out there. Yeah.
Gene Valicenti.
Yeah.
In fact, he was on.
He was
last
just
month.
on, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was on.
Nice.
On the
Gene's
show
a great
last
guy. So Gene was one of those guys. When I came in, I was a kid. I was 24 years old. I got at Channel 10, and Gene kind of took me under his wing when I first got there. He would come
That's
over.
the kind of guy he is.
Great guy. He brought me in the makeup room, and he was like, "Hey, if you need any ties," he gave me his ties. He gave me his pocket squares. He would just every week bring me whatever I needed. Take me out for drinks. We would go get wieners at 2 in the morning after the
really?
shows. Yeah.
Really? You ever taken the Hooters?
Yeah. No, I never taken the Hooters. No. But we would go for wieners, and take it for drinks. He was a great guy, really good, especially when I was younger, just trying to figure out the business and stuff. He was a good guy to have.
Well, I had on this show, Catherine Tappan was on this show.
Yeah.
And she done very well.
She has.
I did a special, not out of studio.
Yeah.
It was like a date.
Oh,
Her
right.
and I went down to the 20 Water Street in East Greenwich, and they set us up a table up in the upper deck. It was a Friday or a Saturday night. Place is mobbed, and we had a table up there, tablecloth, and all the linen and the drinks and all that stuff. And they made us dinner for both of us, and I was talking to her
Did
about
a show?
The whole show was about me interviewing her.
Yeah.
One-on-one.
Yeah.
For the whole hour. She took that tape or the DVD and she went around with it. And that's how she ended up on Channel 7 in Boston.
Oh, yeah. She's done great for herself. She's, NBC Sports. She did sideline at the Brady game the other day.
Exactly,
She's doing great. So when I first got here, she was the number 2. And I worked with her for a year.
Right.
Yeah, she was great. She's great to me. Fantastic person. We still keep in touch. Yeah.
And then she called me and asked me to have a friend of hers on my show.
Dylan Dreyer.
Dylan Dreyer.
Today's show just had a baby. Yeah.
Yeah. She just got back.
Yeah.
on the Today Show.
She just got back.
So she come on the show and she asked me for a tape. She used the tape and
she's done pretty
Look
well
what
for
she-
herself
yeah,
too.
she's done pretty
So
good.
you telling me I'm going to go to the Today Show?
it
or
could
something
be.
after this?
It could
All right.
be.
All right. I
Or
gotta get a tape. I
hey,
gotta
wait
get
a minute
copy.
now. Wait a minute now. That goes further than that.
Okay.
Do you remember Christine Johnson?
Yes. She was here when I first got here. Yeah.
Christine Johnson was on my show 3 times.
Okay.
And the first time she was on the show, I said to her, I go, you've been with Channel 12 5 years and they just put you on TV now? She'd been like,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
5 years before they give her a shot on TV. I said, who's running that show? I said, Ray Charles, and I mentioned another blind guy.
Yeah.
I said, how could they keep you behind the scenes? She was answering phones and calling the different cities and towns.
Yeah, I didn't
about
know that.
5 years before
Wow.
they put her on TV.
Wow.
Second time she was on my show, I said to her, I said, I'm going to make a prediction. I predict within 3 to 5 years, you are filling in for Katie Couric on the Today Show. And she laughed and whatever, right? She come on my show after she called me and she says, you won't believe this. I just got hired by NBC. So she come on the show to talk about it.
Yeah.
She left for New York. You know what she does now?
Is she at WCBS now still?
Yes. She's the anchor.
Yeah.
She's the 6 and 11 o'clock news anchor.
Yeah,
on
at WCBS, yeah.
the main station in the country.
Yeah. Yeah, she was great. She was great when she was here, yeah.
And when she left, she got a job. MSNBC hired her.
Yep.
Right? Doing a late night show, 2 o'clock in the morning or something, right? She calls me one night. She says, you won't believe this. This was after she was there 4 or 5 months. She goes, guess who I'm filling in for tomorrow? She filled in for Katie Couric.
Yeah, see?
That was the craziest thing.
Nostradamus over here.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
Yeah. Wow.
And she's done very well.
Yeah. A lot of people, a lot of great talent has come through Providence.
Yes, exactly.
If you look back on going all the way back, Nat Lauer back in the day was at Channel 10 back in the day, PM Magazine. But yeah, a lot of phenomenal talent.
and the girl from East Providence there.
Yes, Meredith Vieira.
Meredith
Yep.
Vieira, yep.
So Meredith, a funny story about her. I covered the Winter Olympics in 2010. It was Vancouver. Just got out of the media village. I step out of whatever they brought us in like a limousine area, and I got out, and I'm getting ready to go into the media area, and I look up, and it's her. Right. And so, she's a big wig with the Today Show. Yep. So I just walked up to her. I said, I just want to introduce myself. I'm from Rhode Island, Channel 10. And she came up. She was the nicest person. Invited me to the Today Show for a behind-the-scenes story with them. Invited me if I wanted to go grab a coffee. She's like, this is my hotel. If you want to come over, whenever you want. Like, it was phenomenal. She was very, very nice. And she was asking me all the old-timers at Channel 10. Are they still there? And this person was my photographer. She was just a really, really nice person, which helps. It was great.
That's funny, huh?
Yeah, it was nice.
Well, in fact, like I said, Diane, my director, is from Channel 10.
Yeah. You can't get away from the Channel 10 people. They're everywhere. It's like alumni all over the place. We're taking over the world. Yeah. A lot of good people at Channel 10.
All right, who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl? Oh, wait a minute. Let's back it up a little bit. Who's going to win this coming week?
Well,
San Francisco versus Los Angeles. And by the way, my preseason picks.
Yeah.
My preseason pick, and I don't even like them, is Kansas City.
Yeah.
And the Rams. That was my preseason pick.
Okay. All right, and both great picks that I could see that happening, but
and last week, I wish they both lost. Because I wanted Brady in it again.
Yeah.
I wanted San Francisco and Brady. I wanted
well, that would have been
Garoppolo
great.
and Brady. What a story that would have been.
That would have been fantastic. The LA Rams, I think, are an up and down team.
Right.
That one
Very
week they're
inconsistent.
great, 1 week they're whatever.
Yeah.
I think they peaked last week.
Right.
So I could see Jimmy G. He didn't do much last week, and he hasn't really done much when they've been great. But as long as he does just enough, I could see them winning. And
as long as he doesn't make some stupid.
He can't make. Yeah, he does. He makes some mistakes. But I like that, and I like Joe Burrow.
I like that
him.
kid. Yeah.
I like him. I like his demeanor. Yep. I just like everything about him.
And not only him, his kicker.
Everybody. Yeah,
oh
the
my
kicker.
God.
Yeah.
The kicker's got, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
And he's
from Florida. Yeah.
Oh my God, that kid.
So I'm rooting for them.
Me too.
I really want to see him do well. In the Chiefs, it's like, I covered the Patriots for years, and the Patriots were that team. I think the Chiefs are now that team.
Right.
So, and nobody wants to see that team sit up there forever.
No.
So I would like to see Joe Burrow, second-year guy coming back from a knee injury.
Yep.
I think that and a Jimmy G in a San Fran would be an awesome Super Bowl.
I would like to see that as a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that would be phenomenal. And that would be, I think, I remember going back to the day, they played. It wasn't 49ers and Bengals.
That was the highest rated Super Bowl ever.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I remember watching at my grandmother's house in Pawtucket way back in the day. I remember watching that game. Montana, right? It was Montana. Yeah. And who was the quarterback? Boomer Esiason was the quarterback. Yeah. And I was a kid, and I remember watching that. So that would be something, just the historical value. And then Joe Burrow, the Jimmy G being back to the Super Bowl. So I would like to see that, but you never know. Like, listen, the Rams are a great team.
Yep.
So we'll see. And the Chiefs are the Chiefs.
No, but by the way, that's as you say. I would, even though I predicted the Rams, I would definitely want. I'm a Burrows. I believe in that kid. That kid is phenomenal.
He's incredible. So if you're a Patriots fan, you have to hope that Mac takes the next step that all these other guys are taking in their second year, and that they can get people like a Jamar Chase, who's that stud receiver for the Bengals. You hope that you can get guys like that around them. If you can, maybe you can build that offense and build a team.
But where they stand Patriots as far as picks this coming year?
I think it's 21. They have the 21st pick
in the first round.
In the first round, yeah, and then they'll load up. Bill always loads up with picks, so they'll have picks throughout. But first round, they have the 21st pick. But he doesn't do well with his picks. Well, he hasn't. But last year he did well. Last year, if you look at his picks, he had Mack and he had the big defensive Christian Barmore out of Alabama. Right. That was an awesome stud. Until the end, he got hurt. But
that's it.
Yeah. But he's been better as of late with his picks than previous. And then he loaded up last year with all. He
doesn't do well with his wide receivers.
Never. He's never
done good with his wide receivers.
Never.
And you get these other guys that pick guys 5th, 6th round. Look at that.
Look at the Steelers. The Steelers every year have stud receivers. They just get out of nowhere. Right. Patriots can't buy a receiver.
Who's the receiver for? The running back for. I think it's San Francisco. He came out of the
Oh,
sixth
Debo
round.
Samuel. Debo Samuel is their stud. He can do everything.
Yeah.
He's a receiver, but he's
When did he
their
come out?
running
When was
back.
he picked?
A couple years back, I want to say, but he's a stud.
I know, but what round was he
I
picked?
don't know. I don't know if he was a first round.
I don't think he was.
Yeah, but he
He's
can do it
phenomenal.
all.
He's
yeah,
phenomenal.
he can do it all.
But so can that kid for L.A.
Yeah.
The kid with the funny name there.
Cooper
Kupp.
Cooper Kupp is the best receiver in football.
Yep.
And if you look at him, you'll be like, this guy's not a top tier.
Exactly.
He just doesn't have the physique. He doesn't have anything. And I watched something like his dad used to, NBC Sports did a feature on him. His dad used to run drills, like the toe tap drills in his backyard, and he would just work with him for hours on
Well, he's
end.
quick. His first step.
Yeah,
He gets him. He
yeah.
gets the defender
He's
going
good.
the wrong way all
He's
the time.
good, yeah. That one touchdown he had, he was like wide open. Yeah. He's
And
good.
how does that
He's
happen?
Good, yeah.
How
and
did
Sony
that
Michel
happen?
is on their team now too, which is
Yeah, I know.
That was a trade for the Patriots early in the year.
Right.
So yeah, it's great. It's great. This is a great time of year. I think last weekend was probably the best weekend of football that we've seen in
Hard to match that.
years.
Hard to match. Think about it. 3 games, we've scored 3 points.
Yep.
And the other one was 6.
Yeah. So I don't know if anything will match that come this weekend or Super Bowl weekend, but you just hope that you get something like that.
What do you think of that rule that the coin flip?
I like the old college rule where each team gets a chance. I think that's fair.
Right.
But this is, it's luck, and it's if you got to strike, And I think that
Well, if you win the coin toss, you virtually win the game. What is something like 10 out of 11?
Well, unless you kick a field goal. If you kick a field goal or you don't
but then they get a shot.
Then the other team gets a shot.
Right.
And then the other team only needs a field goal if you don't score, or they score and then it's over. So I don't know. I like it where each team gets a shot. Because to see what Josh Allen did in that game, and then for him not to get a shot at winning the game in overtime, I just think that it's devastating for him to, the game he was playing, then you don't even get a shot. So, and I think all fans, not just me, but all fans at home realized as soon as Kansas City won the toss, it was over. It's like, all right, it's over.
Absolutely.
They got it. There's no way they're not going to score or kick a field goal.
When Josh Allen scored and there was 13 seconds left in the game.
I think
They're on the
everybody thought it was over,
sideline
yeah.
hugging. The game's over.
Yeah.
They won.
Yeah.
They should have won that game then and there.
Yeah.
I mean,
multiple times. I think multiple times. When I watched the game, I would have the phone out and I'm tweeting. And multiple times I was about to say, bring out the tables for the Bills Mafia to start breaking tables because I thought game was over. Then I waited and I went to type it again. And then for even 13 seconds, I was like, all right. And I waited and it's incredible. Just absolutely incredible. Nobody expected that.
I mean, that's beyond belief. It's beyond belief that they didn't blitz. It's beyond belief that they didn't squib kick the ball.
Yep.
And the other thing is, how about these kickers now? These guys they all can kick from 55 yards, 60 yards.
Yeah, like that 49-yarder is like average now.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I don't know if it was last year or the year before where all the kickers had issues kicking.
Right.
And guys
they're
were missing
missing
extra
extra points.
And guys are missing everything. Now all these kickers are like right on.
And most of them are young kids. A lot of them.
Yeah,
anyway.
the kid, I think McFarland or whatever for Cincinnati, I think he's a first-year guy
He is,
out
a rookie,
of Florida.
right out of college.
And I think he was actually drafted. A lot of kickers don't get drafted, you just come out as free agents, but he was actually drafted.
But didn't he kick like 9 over 55
yeah.
yards
He
or
was,
something ridiculous?
I don't think he's missed one in the playoffs. Yeah, he's been absolutely incredible. So, yeah, it's an exciting time. For us, it stinks because it's like, I'm always used to covering the Patriots deep in the playoffs.
Right.
And then as soon as football season, like we've been going back and forth, where it's like, I'm busy every week. And then all of a sudden football season ends and it's like, all right, like my week is always, I got Patriots Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sundays. And then it's like, all right, got to find stories to do, got to stay busy. Yeah. When football season ends, it's tough around here because everybody's just so into Patriots all the time.
Right. Well,
So
at least you got the Olympics coming.
Yeah, we got the Olympics coming up, which is huge for NBC. And we had it last year because of the Summer Olympics was pushed back. So, so that's a big thing. We have the Super Bowl on NBC 10 this year. So we have a big February coming up on Channel 10. So.
Oh, do you know one of the video guy for Cincinnati?
Yep.
Used to intern with me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's an Asian kid. He's graduated from Boston U.
Yeah.
And after that, he went to, what's the college in, I can't think of the name of the town. It's Texas.
Yep. Austin? UT?
No, it wasn't Austin. begins with an L. The town. Anyway, he went to school down there, went to graduate school down there. He got hired by Cincinnati.
Oh, wow.
And we've been corresponding when they first started, and they started winning. I said, this kid's the real deal.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he got hurt.
Burrow,
Yep. And
ACL, I think,
he come back, and they have. I don't think they lost a game after.
Yeah,
he
he's
come
been
back.
great. Yeah,
and
he's
he
great.
beat Kansas City.
Yeah, he's great. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I'm rooting. I'm rooting for him.
I'm rooting for him because I'm going to go to the Super Bowl if he wins.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, we've been going back and forth. I was invited to this week's game.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to go to Kansas City.
No. So funny story is I went to Kansas City in 2018 when the Patriots won the Super Bowl that year. AFC Championship was in Kansas City. So that morning we left, we flew right into Kansas City. We jumped out, went right over the stadium to do a live shot. And when I say I've never been colder, maybe one other time I was colder at Super Bowl in Minnesota. It was so cold.
Really?
It's like Flatlands out there, right outside of Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Like literally, I went on live.
It's an open stadium.
Open stadium. I was so cold, my eyes were just like dripping. And my dad, who watches all my shows, texted me and he was like, "Hey, you okay?" He's like, "Why are you crying?" I'm like, "Dad, it's so cold." I'm like, I can't even control my eyes. It was wild. It was wild. So the one good thing, and my photographer, Scott Santos, and I, we went to this great Joe's Barbecue. It's like in a gas station in Kansas City.
In Kansas City.
In a gas station. And somebody told us that, and we pull up, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, I don't think this is it. And like, yeah, they said go in the building. We went in the building. You walk through the aisle of a gas station.
Right.
Like, there was like, motor oil, there's this. You go to the front, you can order a beer at the register, and then you keep going through the aisles, and there's milk, Gatorade, and then in the back, it's a barbecue joint. And you order your food, and you go sit down, and it was the best barbecue I've ever had in my life.
Really?
So that's the only reason I want to go back to Kansas City is to try the barbecue one more time. Joe's Barbecue. Yeah. But it was cold. It's cold there.
Yeah, and it's going to be colder in February.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's going to be cold. It's going to be cold, and it's loud. I think it's one of the loudest
It
stadiums
is.
in the NFL.
Them in
Seattle,
Seattle,
I think, had the readings.
Right.
Seattle was pretty loud, but it was loud there that day. It was cold that day. I remember the AFC Championship game. But the Patriots fortunately won, and then they went on. I think they won in overtime, and then they went on to win the Super Bowl that year too.
Well, didn't they win the way?
Yeah, it was overtime. They got the ball and they went down.
Right?
I think
same
Rex
way
Burkhead
as
scored.
Kansas
Same
City.
thing, yeah.
Same way as Kansas City.
And if you think about it, Kansas City is all happy right now, but they were complaining when it happened against them, and they said they should change the rules.
Right.
Now they're saying, oh, these rules are great because it worked out in their favor.
It worked for them. It worked for them. Yeah.
It was 4 years ago. They were crying about it.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Hey, what do you think's going to happen with Brady?
I don't know. Everybody keeps asking me this, and I honestly, so I think there's three things on the table. I think the first thing is he's doing this to get them to make moves to get him more players.
Right.
Which could
That's
be
what I
option.
think. That's what I think. In other words, I'll come back, but you better.
You need to,
I need some receivers, and I need an offensive guard or a tackle.
I don't think he wants to do it anymore. I think Brady is so motivated to win, and I think that's all he cares about. He doesn't want to have a season like this where he's out in the second round.
Oh, God,
that's
got to be a killer. That's got to kill him.
So I think that either he's doing this to motivate them to build around him again and to actually
By
win.
the way, especially since he almost pulled it out.
Well, yeah. Or two, he could walk away. I think his wife's been wanting him to retire for years. Like,
she makes more money than he does.
Exactly, and he's fine. Or the third thing, which I heard somewhere, and I think would be super interesting, is that
he goes to another team.
Somewhere else.
Goes where?
And I heard that
Pittsburgh.
No, San Fran supposedly is a team that he.
Oh my God!
That's the team
where
that
he's from.
He grew up watching.
That's where he's from.
He watched Montana.
Yeah.
Like that's who he rooted for. So, which would be interesting
God.
because then he messes with Jimmy G again.
Yeah, oh my God.
So I don't know. I think those are the.
What a kick in the butt that would be.
I think those are the three options that are on the table for him. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you, with any of the three options. Like if we were told right now that he picked any of those three, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right.
Because I don't know, like at his age and the kids and everything, like why go through it all? Because when he goes into something, he's like hardcore about it.
Right.
He's not like
so he don't even see his
no,
kids.
he doesn't see his family a whole year.
Right.
So and his oldest is getting older now. I think he's 14.
He's got one boy and two girls.
2 boys and one girl.
Boys and one girl,
Vivi's the youngest. So I think that, like I've seen the kids grow up in the locker room, and like they're getting older now. So like at what point does, life pass you by and you're like, I wish I was there a little bit more. Because
Well,
like I said,
the other
goes
thing
so
is
hard.
now he's in, he's from West Coast.
Yep.
He was in Boston for 20 years.
Yep.
Now he's in Florida.
Yeah. Well, it's where you want to spend the time, yeah. It's
Yeah.
where I think he just built, or is building, or just bought some type of mega mansion in Miami, in like the Billionaires Island. So I think, do you retire and you go down there, or do you go back west? I don't know. I honestly, I don't know, and I wouldn't be surprised if whatever he does do, I wouldn't be surprised. Just after when he left New England, I was very surprised that went down like that. I figured he would stay here forever.
Why do you think that went down?
I think that it was the butting of heads with him in Bill.
You think they were butting heads?
Yeah. I think that.
Well, they're playing it off like it didn't happen.
I know they do, but I think it's documented in the different books, in the different stories that have popped up. That something relationships. 20 years is a long time to be with somebody, anybody,
right? Yeah.
And especially with somebody that rubs you the wrong way or gets after you. And you can see Tom. Tom liked, maybe not this year, but last year he liked down in Tampa because he called the shots.
Exactly.
It was his show.
Exactly.
He went he was offensive coordinator.
Absolutely.
What he said went. He was the GM. He brought in the players, and I think Tom likes that. And I don't think they like that Bill treats every. If you watch, I don't know if you watch Tom vs. Time or the new one, Man in the Arena on ESPN Plus, but it's a great docuseries that goes behind the scenes, and I think both of them will say to the cameras all the right things, that they both love each other, respect each other, which they do. But I think that anybody who's treats you the same as he would treat the 53rd man on the roster,
right?
Which is what Bill does. Tom didn't like that. Tom is Tom. Yeah, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. I think he wanted a little say in the roster, and Bill didn't give him that.
Right.
Or he would take less money, hoping that they would bring in other guys. And
he
Bill
did.
wouldn't do
He
that.
did.
Yeah.
He never was a premier.
He never. No,
never
he was
took the
no,
most money.
No.
He always said, give a little to my offensive guard and tackle.
And at times Bill didn't do that. So I think that bothered him too. So I think, it's like anything. There's a love-hate relationship over the years, and he made the decision to leave. And I think that was tough on Mr. Kraft, because he was like a second father to him.
Right.
And he tried to basically keep everything together. And it came to a point when he left and he made his decision. So, like I said, whatever happens, I wouldn't be surprised that it happened. But, for him to go out, if he did retire, like, he's 44 years old, throwing for over 40 touchdowns. He's still in the prime of his career. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at his numbers.
He's thrown more touchdowns since he's 40.
Than when he did in his 20s.
Then he was 20.
Yeah, which is absolutely incredible. So, to see him walk away, it would be a shame. It would be a shame.
Because he's still
so
got
good.
more gas in the tank.
Oh, yeah.
He still has more gas.
Until, barring an unforeseen injury, he's still top 5 quarterback. Who else is better
But
than
he's
him?
never been paid as a top 5
he hasn't.
quarterback.
No. And I don't think ever will.
No.
No.
You got
Mahomes.
Mahomes. What is he making?
Oh, ridiculous. Yeah. I don't even know. But
300 million or
he's
something
records,
ridiculous amount of
record
money?
breaking. Yeah. But so, and that is why Tom always did it, so they could build around him. So if you make so much money, then you can't bring in all the elite players because you can't afford them. So Tom always, and Tom didn't need the money, especially when he got married with Giselle. It wasn't about money. And I still think to this day it's not about money for him. I think it's about respect and it's about winning. Yeah, that's all he cares about.
That's all he cares about.
So that's why I don't know, if he doesn't think they can win a Super Bowl next year, why come back?
Right.
I think it's a waste of time to him, because that's all he cares about.
Yeah, because Gronk's at the end of his career.
Yeah.
You can't get banged up. He's a big guy. You can't get banged up like
but he's still playing well too.
Right.
If you look at his season, he's still barring, he has some injuries and stuff
But
this
when
year.
you have back
He's
surgery,
still playing,
and I've had back surgery,
Yeah.
you are not 100%. I don't care how good you are not 100%.
He's had back problems dating back to his times in Arizona.
Right.
So that's why he was a second-round pick by the Patriots,
Yep.
because nobody wanted to touch him because of his back. And then he came in the NFL, and he's had injuries over the
Did
years.
he have one or two back operations?
I think he's had multiple back operations.
think
And then he
so.
had that arm injury. Remember that whole arm thing?
Yep.
And it got infected. And so he's had injuries. And then same thing is he got out of New England because of whatever happened with him and Bill and that whole situation. So Yeah, I don't know. I can tell you that he won't play if Tom's not playing.
Oh, I agree
That's the
with
only reason that he's playing.
Yeah, that's the only reason he's playing.
Is because of Tom.
Well,
So if
what
Tom
happened
goes
to-
somewhere else, I would see him going with him.
Right. What happened a few weeks ago when he needed 6 or 7 passes?
yeah.
He needed 7 passes to get 50,000.
Yeah, and Tom stayed in the game. No, I think it was 500,000, another 500,000. I think he made $1 million that game because of Brady.
$1 million.
Yeah, he made $1 million because he had 2 incentives.
I knew one was the 7 passes.
I think
but he had another
I think he
incentive?
had 2. I think he got $1 million that game because there's a video of him going out there. He goes with Tom. He goes, "Thanks to the million, Tom."
Thanks a million.
And Tom, basically, Tom was supposed to leave the game, and he goes, "No, I'm staying in because I wanted to get on the ball."
Right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
they made $1 million because of Tom. So they have a great relationship and going all the way back to when he first got here.
Now,
And
where
Gronk
is
was
he
a great
from?
guy.
Where is he from?
He's a Buffalo kid, actually.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
he's
right,
a Buffalo kid. And he was like, I've covered Gronk his whole career, when he was in New England, I should say. But he was like always great. Like he was like a little kid. Like you see him on television, that's Gronk.
Right.
I would be live in the parking lot on like a Wednesday night at like 6:30, getting ready to do the news, and all of a sudden a car would drive by, beeping the horn, and some idiot's yelling at me. I look up, and it's Gronk. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" So I'm going home. What's going on? I'm like, "Go!" And he would like drive away and beep. Like I was leaving camp one day, and I'm on the right side of the road leaving, and all of a sudden a car comes from behind me, starts beeping, goes to the wrong way of a one-way, and starts talking to me. And I look up, it's Gronk. And cars are coming at us.
Really?
And he's just like, "Hey, what's up? What are you doing?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's a kid. He's a great guy. It was great to cover him. And I'm happy to see him having success because, he deserves it.
Right.
He's a good dude. He's a good guy. So,
Well,
but
he's
yeah.
the guy that wants the ball in the
Yeah.
end of the game.
In the big times, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's the red zone threat. He was still to this day. And if you look at Brady and you can look at his whole career, he goes to guys that he trusts. And
Right.
if you look at it, the Julian, the Wesses, the
Right.
Dannys, the Gronks.
Right.
If he doesn't trust you, third down, end of the game, he's not going to. So if you look at all the big moments, it's always been Wes, Julian, Danny, or
Right.
Gronk.
Well, that's the same with Mahomes.
Yeah, well, Travis is his. Yeah, Travis is his guy. So
That's why I didn't understand how he was so open
so
to
wide
get
open.
the
Yeah,
touchdown.
yeah.
I didn't get that.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Cooper Kupp. I didn't
yeah,
understand that either.
He's so good too. Yeah, yeah. So that's why if you look at all the games, Tom, and that's why Tom struggled in the last year he was here, 19, because he didn't have.
He had no receivers.
He didn't have the receivers and he didn't have a go-to, and at that point I think Jules was banged up, so it's like he didn't like N'Keal Harry. He doesn't like the young guys that he can't trust.
Right. Plus,
So-
they can't get any separation.
Well, yeah. Well, that was a major issue that year. But even this year, like you see, like Mike Evans took a while for him to grow with Tom.
Right.
Like a while, like up until recently. Yeah, I mean, this season is finally when they really came together.
Absolutely.
Last year it was Godwin and Gronk. So it's fun. It's been a fun ride.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What I was going to ask you is, what do you think of the quarterback for the reason I picked the Rams this year? I always liked
Stafford.
Stafford.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
got great
well,
numbers,
Yeah, he does. So that just shows you that whatever was going on in Detroit,
He had no receivers and he had no offensive
was not
line.
his fault because they did that swap, and he's been great. Yeah, he's been great, and it helps when you have Cooper Kupp, you have OBJ,
And you have an offensive
you
line.
Yeah,
And a running
yeah,
back.
Yeah, and you have a running back. So it does help. He's good. He's
How
a good
many
quarterback.
games did Detroit? My sentimental favorite. I always liked them on
Detroit?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
For some reason, I've liked them since back in the days when Landry was the quarterback.
yeah.
And they had Sanders.
Yeah.
You know,
Sanders
one
was
of the
great.
greatest ever.
Yes.
And I always liked them sentimentally. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't really root for them, but I root for them if nothing else was on. I would always root for them.
Yeah.
And this poor guy was getting beaten at the ends of the game
Yeah.
by field goals all the time. He's always lose.
They struggled. I think they have Dan Campbell as their coach now, and they struggled this year too. I think they had one big win at the end of the year, but yeah, they're a tough team. So the best thing ever is for Matthew Stafford to go to LA.
And
You
he's
got-
still
you got
a young
brand new
guy.
set.
What is he, 32, I think?
Yeah, he has plenty of time. He's been around a while. It feels like he's been around forever.
Oh, he come up when he was 22.
Yeah, because he came up and he had Megatron down in Detroit, and they had an explosive offense for a while. It's just that team is run so poorly. But it's good to see him in a good environment with a good team, a good coach, a new stadium. Sky's the limit for them, really. And that's what they were missing when they had Goff. a couple of years ago when they went to the Super Bowl against the Patriots, they just couldn't do anything offensively. Now you have an explosive offense to go with that defense that was always really, really good.
Now, conceivably, they're going to get the game in L.A. this week.
Yeah, and then Super Bowl.
And the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I think remember Tampa Bay won it, and they were the first home. They were the first home team to ever play. So that'd be crazy for 2 years in a row to have home team for 2 straight years after never before in Super Bowl history.
Right.
It could happen again.
And win.
In L.A. Yeah, and
win the game.
Yeah. But that's going to be tough, whoever you play, but especially if you play the Chiefs.
Well, like I said, even Cincinnati.
Well, Cincinnati. Yeah, no, I don't think you can. And like I said, I'm rooting for them. But the Chiefs are just so. Like those two offenses, it would be like a shootout because you just go score.
Well, it was when they played each other.
Yeah, so I like to see the betting odds on that. The over/under it has to be like 60 on that game if it happens.
And the guy that really makes a difference in that Kansas City team is that Hill.
Yes,
he's unbelievable. I mean, they cannot
He's so fast.
catch him.
He's just so fast. Speed.
He's got to be the fastest guy in the NFL.
Yeah, he is. I think he is. Yeah, Patriots have had issues
he runs through
with him. The cheetah.
Like crazy.
Yeah, he's so fast.
He's
a
so
little
elusive.
guy, but he's so fast.
Yes,
Yeah, and you saw, I think it was this last weekend when he scored that touchdown, and he just broke off from like 3 guys.
Yeah, he went like this down the field.
Yeah, he's so good. So they're a great. I think this weekend's games will be good, but I don't know if anything can compare to what we just witnessed.
What? By the way, do you know the odds on the games?
I haven't looked yet. No, I haven't looked yet, but it'll be interesting. I assume.
Now, L.A. has been beaten by San Francisco this year.
Like 6 straight times, I think. Yeah,
6 straight times?
I believe if you look at the history, San Fran has their number.
Well,
and I want to say 6 straight. Don't quote me on this, but I want to say it's significant. It's not just once this year.
No, you're right.
I
think it's 5. I think it is 5. It's at least 5.
Maybe it's 5. Yeah,
it's at least 5. It could be 6.
They have their number, and they're so inconsistent, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Right, but this is the playoffs for the shot to be at home. For the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think you got to favor L.A.
Yeah, I would assume. Yeah. I would assume LA is a big favorite, and I would assume on the other side the Chiefs are a huge favorite.
Oh, absolutely.
But I wouldn't put out Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and the Bengals either. I think they can compete, but it's gonna be a tough task to go to Arrowhead and knock them off in Arrowhead, especially just the way the Chiefs are playing. They're just. They struggled early on, which is interesting. They were so bad early on. And it came off the Super Bowl where they were terrible too. So I think they had a hangover from that, and I think it lasted for a while. But they figured it out because obviously they're one of the best teams of football.
Well, they probably are the best team of football.
Yeah, just offensively and defensively. Though they didn't do much on defense last week, but their defense is pretty good.
Now, what's going to happen with Pittsburgh?
I don't know. They need to get a new quarterback.
Yeah.
They need to get a new quarterback. I don't even know who the backup is now. I don't even know who he is, but they'll need to draft. They always have, like I mentioned earlier, they always have receivers. So I don't think that's an issue. They always get these great running backs. But Big Ben was just such a good quarterback for so long. You know what I mean? He came in I think 2004, and he's been a great, big, strong kid.
Yeah.
Never really hurt,
Oh, except that motorcycle accident.
Well, yeah. The accident, but on the field, he's just such a strong guy and hard to take down. And I think that he was, to look what he did, he had a great career. You know what I mean? To see what he did, I think he won 2 Super Bowls, right?
Yeah.
He won 2 Super Bowls, so it'll be interesting to see how if Tomlin sticks around, see how they fix that team that really struggled this year.
And what about Green Bay?
That'll be interesting, too, to see what happens. The whole Aaron Rodgers.
I think he's going to go.
I would think so. Yeah, I would think so. See how it ended there. And just to lose the way they lost.
He choked.
Yeah,
he
terrible.
Absolutely. The weather certainly had a play in it.
Yeah, but that's
been
weather in Green
favor.
Bay. And
should have been in his favor.
Yeah, that's weather.
He only scored, 10 points?
Yeah, terrible. So after the year he's had with the whole COVID situation, just everything, and I think he wanted out even before all of that.
Right. Well, he did want out at the beginning of the year.
He wanted out at the beginning of the year. So I don't know where he goes, but whoever is getting him is getting one of the best quarterbacks of football.
Right.
If you have a decent team around him.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like if you have a decent team and you get him, that puts you over the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's just such a great
So
player.
who's the team would be the match for him? Do you think Pittsburgh would be a match for him?
Well, that's probably a good thought. Yeah, Pittsburgh, because they have a good team. They just need a quarterback. But I don't know. I don't know what the early odds on where he would go. I know Miami could use a quarterback, but I don't know.
I was going to say that.
Miami
That was
could
my
use a
second
quarterback. But it sounds like they're going to stick with Tua.
A left-hander, by the way.
Yes.
Is he the only? He's the only left-hander in the
I
pros,
don't know. Yeah, I don't know if there's another one. But they could use a quarterback. The whole Deshaun Watson, that was talked that they could get Deshaun Watson, and that didn't happen. And Flores got canned from there. So yeah.
Now Watson's staying with Texas, right?
Well, on the sidelines, but yeah, for now he's not playing for them.
He's not playing.
No, he's not playing for them.
He's just going to sit it out for the
they need to move him, but I think they need to wait for the whole legal situation.
Well, he's got like 25 charges against him or something.
Well, yeah,
like
he has
that.
a lot of bad news. Yeah, a lot of bad news. A lot of bad news. But Miami was always in the wheelhouse to get him.
Right.
And then when Flores went, because I don't think Brian Flores liked Tua, so I think that they wanted to get Watson, but now that he's gone, it means they're going to stick with Tua.
Right.
So I don't know, but I think they need to figure out the legal, because who's going to want to trade for a guy that they don't know that could even play? Because right now I think he might be on like the commissioner's exempt list, which keeps you off the field.
Really?
So I don't even think he can play.
Now, is he being paid?
I don't know. I'd have to check that. I don't know if I would assume. I don't know. I don't want to say yes or no.
In their contract something about
morals
clauses?
But the moral clause, yeah, there is. Yeah.
So maybe he's not being paid.
So I don't know. But if he is getting paid,
I know he wanted to be traded, but
yeah,
nobody
wanted
to touch it.
Well, then everything came out.
Right.
And then it's tough for somebody to put millions of dollars into you when you have issues going on. So.
Who's the highest paid quarterback? Mahomes, right?
Mahomes, yeah. Yeah, Mahomes is. So it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. It's fun. The NFL season, there's nothing quite like it,
No, this year was phenomenal.
It was great.
It really was phenomenal.
It was great.
The whole year.
It flew by. It flew.
And it was 17 games.
17 games, yeah.
Now,
so beginning of the year, I always get excited because it's like football's here, and then all of a sudden you blink your eyes, and it's week 17, week 16 usually, and then season's over. But yeah, it was fun. It was a fun season.
Now, you said you're covering the Olympics?
Yeah, so we won't be there.
I heard that. Nobody's going
So
there,
nobody's
right?
going. Yeah,
everybody's got to do it from
remotely.
Remote.
So all the NBC people will be in a studio like
off?
this, watching a monitor and commentating off the monitor. Yeah, that's how they'll be doing it.
That's weird.
Yeah, which they've tried for some events before, but just because of the situation. But yeah, back in the day, we because we were NBC, we used to go. Frank Carpano used to go to all the Olympics for years, and then I went in 2010, and then when we were sold, then that was it. When we got out of NBC, and then we stopped going. It's expensive. I was lucky that I went once. I got to cover the 2010 games. Great experience. Just to be a part of it.
Did you get the torch?
I did not get the torch. No. There was at the Olympic Village. There was this huge torch that would go out every night, and it was lit throughout the games. But it was cool. It was a great experience. It was like one of those once in a lifetime. It was before I was married and had kids, so I was in Vancouver for 2 weeks.
The Summer Olympics or the Winter
I did
Olympics?
winter in Vancouver.
Oh God!
And it was 2 weeks.
I'd rather do the Summer Olympics.
Yeah, I know. I'd rather do that. Or I wish I did like Frank went to Italy one time. He did Greece one time.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Vancouver was great. Vancouver is a fantastic city.
It is a beautiful city.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city.
Beautiful city. And it's not that cold.
No, it wasn't. No. So that was the issue. Is that they had issues because all the snow things. I forgot the name of the mountain, but there's this huge mountain way up in Vancouver, and they had issues because there wasn't enough snow, and they were bringing in snow and stuff like that. So that was interesting. But yeah, Vancouver is a fantastic, clean city. It felt like like a cleaner version.
Hollywood North.
Yeah, it really was. It was awesome. So I enjoyed it, and it was once in a lifetime thing. It was a bucket list item. I've been very lucky to cover some great events, Stanley Cups, NBA Finals, Super Bowls, like everything. But that was one of those bucket lists to say I covered. So I enjoyed that.
Well, you're talking about the torch. Wasn't the torch one year made here? Somebody
it came through, and I think it came through Providence. Yeah.
Because I did a show with Frank Carpano on location at the old Olives on South Main Street.
Yep.
Which was
Yes.
Shaboom's
Yeah.
early on.
Oh, was it? All right.
Yeah, we did a show there. I brought in a band.
Mm-hmm.
I had the chef from there cooking, because I used to do a lot of cooking in my show.
Yeah.
And well, I'm on my 29 and a half years doing
geez.
this. And we had a cook there. We cooked a meal. Me and Frank sat in the booth.
Yeah.
And he brought the torch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had the torch right
Well,
there.
he did the torch. I think Frank went through the city of Providence with the torch. I didn't know you could just bring it in restaurants with you, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he had it in the restaurant.
That's awesome.
You ask him about that.
I will.
We
I
had a
definitely
band. I think it. I can remember the kid's Mark was his first name. Mark Cahoon or something like that was the band. It was a good band.
Yeah.
And the drummer was which is unusual. The drummer was the lead singer.
Oh, really? All right.
Which is unusual. You ask Frank about
Yeah,
that.
I will. I definitely will. I knew he did the torch thing, but I didn't know that you could just take it with you.
No, he brought it home.
Oh, he did? All
Yeah,
right.
he ended up with it. Or a copy
see
of
if
it.
he
or
still
whatever,
has it.
somehow.
Yeah, I gotta ask
I
him.
was at the '96 Olympics, the Summer in
Yes.
Atlanta. Yeah, and I was there. I covered that. I was there 13 days.
Yep.
And I was there when who lit the torch?
Muhammad Ali.
That's right.
Yes.
Shocked everybody.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
And I interviewed the guy that everybody thought was going to light the torch,
Yeah.
which Evander Holyfield
Yeah,
was
Evander,
supposed
yeah.
to light the torch.
Yeah.
And he ran up and last
Muhammad,
minute he
yeah.
handed up to Ali,
Yep.
who lit it. And I ran into Evander the next day, and I interviewed him the next day outside in Olympic Village.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, it was.
Special. That's a special moment. Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
That's
the whole
history.
Olympics was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah.
And unfortunately, it was
Yeah. What
the
happened?
bombing.
Yeah.
after.
What happened? Yeah.
I left the day before.
Oh, the bombing? Yeah, that's scary. Well, and I've always covered these big events, and it's scary when you're at a big event because obviously it's it could be
Now
a
it's
spot.
scary.
Yeah.
Back then it was not
Yeah,
scary.
yeah.
That was
now
like
it's like
very
when you go
unusual.
in, even like on a normal Sunday in Foxborough, when you go in the back way through security command, there's dogs, there's this, there's that. Like it's like we see the back sides, the back doors of Gillette, and there is like military presence there every Sunday, and it's just to think of where we are now, it's scary, especially Super Bowl, like Super Bowl week, like that's the biggest event in the world.
Yep.
And the security that
And
goes
that's
into
when
it.
these crazies want to do something.
Exactly. So it's scary when you go to these events because you think of what could happen, but you feel safe because obviously all the precautions that go into place.
Right.
It's
And a lot of the stuff you don't even see.
yeah, exactly. But the stuff you do see is like, oh wow, like they're everywhere. They're in the sky. They're everywhere, which makes you feel better. But
So what's the biggest event, though? If you had to say one event that you covered, Joe Kayata covered, and how many years you've been with?
16.
16?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the biggest.
Now, you said you did the Stanley Cup. Who was playing?
Yeah, so I did 3 Stanley Cups.
Oh,
I
great.
did the Bruins when they won in Vancouver.
Right.
I did the Bruins in Chicago in 13 when they played the Blackhawks.
Right.
Went to Chicago a couple times, which was cool.
I love
great
Chicago.
city.
That is a great
Fantastic
town. Love
city.
that town.
Fantastic
Love
city.
it. I call it town.
A couple years later, I brought my wife just because I was like, I've only been there for work. I was like, we should go back. We went back, and it was just fantastic city.
Yeah.
And then
I've been at McCormick's.
Yes, the steakhouse.
Trade Center there.
Yeah.
No, the Trade Center
Oh, the
there.
Trade Center. Yeah.
A few times.
And then the last year was St. Louis in
Oh, wow.
18. Yeah, in
Yeah?
18. Yeah. The St. Louis is
St.
okay.
Louis Blues?
Yeah, it's okay city. So yeah,
It's an okay city.
Yeah, it's not Chicago. It's not Chicago. I really enjoyed Chicago.
Well, that's close enough
Yeah.
to Kansas City, though, isn't it?
Yeah. But Chicago is a fantastic city.
It is.
But if I
call Chicago New York City with a whitewash.
Yes, yeah,
Right?
and I say that too. I say New York City, but cleaner. Like
Exactly.
you walk down the street, you don't have to
Yeah.
come change when you get in your place. It's
Although
nice.
now it's very, very dangerous with the gangs.
So going back to your buddy Gene Valicente, I covered it, right? And I was there for 4 or 5 days. And I got back, and he goes, "Hey, Kayata, you're still alive?" And I was like, "Yeah." Well, and he goes, "It was the deadliest weekend in Chicago. There was like 24 murders that weekend.
Right,
we were
yeah,
there."
yeah.
And I was like, "Well, that's not where I was, Gene. Like we were on that Miracle Mile area."
Yeah, but on top of it, they kill each other anyway. They're
the
not
South
killing
Side,
other people. Yeah.
There was like 24 murders in one weekend.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That
going back,
was a good weekend.
and that was a good, yeah.
For the news.
Yeah. So going back to your original question, and I think I brought it up earlier, I would have to say the number
Super
one
Bowl,
thing is that Super Bowl,
Atlanta.
the greatest comeback. Yeah, the greatest
That
comeback.
was unbelievable.
Just to
Unbelievable.
be a part of it and to say, prior to that, it would have been the perfect season if they could cap it off, but they couldn't cap it off.
Right.
So I would have to say the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history, and to be a part of it and be on the field and the confetti coming down. There's nothing like a Super Bowl, in my opinion. So that's probably my answer.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Not the commercials, right?
No, half the time I don't watch the commercials when I'm there, and I've been so I have a 8-year-old son, a 5-year-old son, and for a while, I think I did like 5 or 6 Super Bowls because we only go when the Patriots go, but the Patriots had that streak, like 14, 16, 17, 18, and so my kid was like 4 or 5 years old. And
they're watching you on TV.
He only knows that I go to Super Bowl every year. So I got back. He goes, well, next year, can you get me that Tom Brady thing? I'm like, I don't go every year. He goes, yeah, you do. You go. Like, they just know, or they knew, and I buy him a Super Bowl ball, like a game ball, every year.
Right.
And so they just thought that I just go to the Super Bowl every single year. And I had to explain to him, no, I only go when the Patriots go. And he's like, yeah, the Patriots go every year. I'm like, no, that's, enjoy it now, because when you get older, things can get bad. So I had a great, this last run, the last 15 years for sports. To be a sportscaster in this area over the last 15 years have been absolutely incredible to see. Right. Just to see what I've seen, I've had a front row seat. And like I said, I'm from here, so to grow up watching those teams as a kid, and now to cover the teams that I grew up watching, it's fun.
Yeah, and still there's a lot of the former Patriots that live in Cumberland, Lincoln, Attleboro.
Yep.
A lot of those guys I see around.
Yeah. So it's been a great run. I don't know if we'll ever see anything like what we just saw, but hopefully.
A season ticket holder, a friend of mine, been a season ticket holder for years, he said that the fact that the Patriots stumbled in the last 2 or 3 years and Brady has done so well shows that who carried who. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a debate that can go on forever. I think that Tom showing what he did shows that he can win without Bill. But look at the team that he had. And when he won, look at the team they had last year. It was stacked. Whereas Bill, right, with a rookie quarterback, won 10 games and got the team to the playoffs.
I know, but
I think that showed something too. And if they went deeper, then that would have been even more.
But I didn't believe in them this year.
I didn't believe.
No, I didn't believe.
Even when they got hot, when they won 7 straight.
Yes, I said that. We talked about it all the time. Joe would get mad at me. I said, Joe, they don't have it. They don't have it. McCourty's got no speed.
Well, he's
they run right by him.
Yeah.
The middle linebacker, 54.
Yeah, Dante Hightower. He's slow. He's
well beyond his time.
Yeah. I honestly thought, covering the team, when they got hot, I was like, all right, and everybody was talking Patriots and Bucks in the Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden, things got cooled off quickly. As soon as that bye hit, they went downhill, and then.
And I picked Buffalo to win the division.
Did you? Yeah.
I did.
I thought that, when they beat Buffalo the way they did the first time, and Buffalo started trending in the wrong direction, the Patriots were trending in the right direction, I just figured it was back to normal. Patriots were going to go on their climb, and the Bills were going to take a nosedive.
Well, their coach sucks. The Bills coach.
Oh yeah, McDermott.
He stinks.
Well, he made a ton of bad errors.
Oh my God! Not only that game, and
all season long.
All
season long. Against the Patriots, he made a lot of.
Because again, I bet him the beginning, not a lot of money, but I bet on Buffalo, and I said this guy's going to blow this thing.
Yeah.
And still being a Patriot fan, but I just didn't think the Patriots had it this year. I really didn't.
We'll see. Next year will be a big year. Second year for Max to see what he can do.
If they get receivers, he'll do well.
Yeah, well, they need a stud. They need to get a stud because Kendrick Bourne, he did really well for them this year. Jacoby Myers is a good target. Nelson Aguilar was so-so. And Hunter Henry was pretty good, the tight end. But they just need a stud. They need a guy like
somebody can open it up.
Jamar Chase. They can open up the field.
Well, listen. Finally, I got you
Finally,
here.
I'm here.
Finally,
it was great.
I got
it was
here.
great.
You spent an hour. You did it.
Was
you
it?
spent an hour
wow,
with Bob,
I did
buddy.
It.
You did it.
Whoa.
Joe Kayata.
Bucket list.
Channel 10.